So thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to make a presentation here. My case is a 7-year-old boy who presented to us with a history of mild redness in the right eye for 7 days, and what he described, the parents described as a whitish discoloration in the lower part of the eye for a week. There was no history of prior treatment and no significant past or family history. On ocular examination, the visual acuity in the right eye was 6/9, and positive findings included a pseudohypopyon and white fluffy deposits on the iris. The intraocular pressure was raised to 24 millimeters of mercury. Rest of the anterior segment examination was normal. So this is a slit lamp photograph of what the child looked like at presentation, and fundus was absolutely normal. So was the general physical examination and the systemic examination in this child. Ultrasound did not show any evidence of any mass lesion or calcification. We went ahead with a UBM to look for a peripheral mass, but all it showed was some collection in the inferior angle. We then did an MRI to look for a peripheral mass, but both on T1 weighted and T2 weighted images, there was no evidence of any intraocular mass, either in the anterior or in the posterior segment. So what were we dealing with? Was it inflammatory? Was it neoplastic? In the inflammatory differentials, we considered idiopathic uveitis, sarcoidosis, tuberculosis, especially in our setup, pars planitis, GRA-associated uveitis, fungal endophthalmitis, and toxocara endophthalmitis. In the neoplastic differentials, we had to rule out leukemia, lymphoma, meduloepithelioma, juvenile xanthogranuloma, metastatic neuroplastic tumor, and a diffuse anterior retinoblastoma. So we did all the investigations that we could think of, but they all turned out to be normal. So what was the diagnosis? How to proceed? The decision could be based on experience or what the literature says. So we found that probably FNAC of anterior chamber exudates was what we needed to do, although it's a nightmare for an ocular oncologist who is suspecting a diagnosis of retinoblastoma. We explained the suspected nature of the disease to parents, took an informed consent, and proceeded with FNAC of the anterior chamber exudates. The FNAC report showed numerous clusters of malignant round cells that were consistent with retinoblastoma. So what were we dealing with? We were dealing with a rare variant of retinoblastoma, which is a diffuse anterior retinoblastoma without any retinal involvement. We looked at the literature and found that there were 6 cases reported in the literature. Most of the time the clinical presentation is a pseudohypopyon, pseudouveitis, or a raised IOP. These are usually present in older children. Fundus examination is normal. Out of the 6 reported cases, only 1 case had peripheral retinal involvement on clinical examination, and the majority of cases reported are unilateral and sporadic, with only 1 case with germline mutation. And in all these previously reported cases, the clinicians had resorted to an FNAB to arrive at the diagnosis. So this is an excellent review of diffuse anterior retinoblastoma that I came across when I was dealing with this case, and these are the 6 cases that are reported so far in literature. So we went ahead with enucleation, which was a recommended treatment in all these 6 cases, and adjuvant systemic and chemotherapy or EBRT was also recommended in the previous cases. So on histopathology of the enucleated specimens, we found clusters of poorly differentiated retinoblastoma cells that were involving the iris and the angle of the anterior chamber. The choroid, sclera, and optic nerve were free of tumor cells, and multiple sections were taken, but no tumor was found in the retina. So why no retinal tumor? The hypothesis in the previously discussed cases is that probably there is recession or involution of a small focus of retinal tumor, or perhaps the retinal tumor is too small and therefore missed on serial sections. In fact, in one of the cases reported earlier, more than 400 serial sections had been taken to section the eyeball and look for a retinal focus of tumor, but it was not found. Or another hypothesis is that it's possibly a stem cell in the anterior segment that is causing this. So after enucleation, we advise 6 cycles of adjuvant systemic chemotherapy. This is the immediate post-operative photograph of the patient. And when I was coming for this presentation, I just reviewed the literature once more to see if globe salvage is possible in these cases. And this year there's a publication by the Shields group which talks about 3 cases of diffuse anterior retinoblastoma where globe salvage was possible with plaque and with chemotherapy. So this is one of the cases in the case series described by the Shields group. And the challenges that remain for us is first making the correct diagnosis, and secondly, what is a diagnostic tool where there is no risk of tumor dissemination, because all these cases we have resorted to an FNAC, and that is something which is to be avoided in every case of retinoblastoma. So I leave that open to the audience. Thank you for your kind attention.